How many of you have seen Life of Pi? So that guy, he's Pi, no? I call him the frenemy. He's someone you hate, but you can't let go as well. Just like on that boat. And they had to enter into a strange, uneasy relationship. And there is a very deep relationship between this and the body in which it lives. And that's what this book is about. I'm going to share, first I thought I'd share about my caregiver's journey. It's surprised many people, many friends who first read the draft, saying, wow, Nilima, you went through so much and you just smiled your way through these last 10 years and we had no idea what was going on inside. We have this beautiful myth in our culture, Savitri and Satyavan, and how the wife really brought her husband back. Perhaps it was all these stories that were on my mind in these last 10 years, but it's not as wonderful and altruistic as that. It's messy, it's difficult. The person you love is also the person who becomes a very difficult person to be with. He is so depleted emotionally, dealing with his trauma, that you have to find your own anchor, So there's an entire parallel story that is the caregiver story. While the person having the cancer is going through a more visible journey, there's a completely parallel invisible track that the caregiver and his family is going through. Some journalists were asking us when they interviewed, so what happened with your children? Well, our son is here, a lovely strapping young man. My mother is here, and I'm so glad to have them here. And I think we all were touched by this. The cancer was in Vijay's body, and yet we all had cancer. And we all came out of it different as a result. So that one chapter is called the Caregiver's chapter. And I'm going to talk more about immunity and what compromises it, because I was very glad to hear Kiran really zero in on the crux of the matter, right? That if we can have a robust immune system, then your body routinely produces up to 70 cell mutations in a lifetime that can turn cancerous. Did you know that? And yet, not all of us develop cancer. Why is that? Because the body is also a fabulous self-healing system that nature has given us. And so we routinely know how to flush out these cancerous cells and we remain cancer-free. So then why do we get cancer? It's something that's been discovered quite recently, surprisingly. It's called psychoneuroimmunology. The breakdown of immunity is caused by this one word called stress. Stress. Stress compromises this one amazing inner healer that you have. And stress itself is a big bag. There's lots of stuff in it. So we talk a lot about understanding what is in this big bag. What is in this bag of stressors that you have. If you can find those, if you can weed them out, then you've got a great chance to get your immunity to kick back and to do what it does, which is heal you and keep you in health. So a little bit on the chapter on immunity and stress from my side. I have a degree in life sciences and biochemistry. I'm a qualified yoga teacher. I kind of brought all these together in a very personal way because it was a matter of life and death for us. So immunity and stress. That stress and immunity are correlated is now an accepted medical fact. Stress, however, is not always negative in its results. A certain level of stress can be challenging and can push people to grow in various ways. However, when there is excessive stress and one's coping mechanisms and resources cannot address this constructively, one experiences distress. And this leads to the breakdown of immunity. All the feelings you experience when you are distressed, helplessness, hopelessness, depression, anxiety, panic, isolation, rage, resentment, fatigue, despair, hurt, vulnerability are linked to an immune dysfunction or breakdown. Therefore, when your body-mind cannot cope with stress, your immune system cannot defend you from invaders or cancer cells. Learning to cope better with stress is a choice you can and must make. It is a difficult choice, but comes with a great prize attached: optimum immunity that prevents occurrence and recurrence of cancer and other illnesses. A few people who read this book in advance said, why does this just apply to cancer? Everything that you've written here applies to me, and I don't have cancer. But precisely, this book is for each and every one of us. So what is a holistic approach to immunity then? Since immunity is essential to the healing process, and stress compromises immunity, we believe it needs to be addressed in a holistic way. We've heard of that before. Medical science shows that cancer-causing stressors are physical in nature and advocates that one stays clear of factors like carcinogens, radiation, and unhealthy dietary and lifestyle habits. Mind-body medicine, on the other hand, makes a strong case for addressing mental and emotional stressors, either by eliminating them from one's life or finding better ways to cope with them. Eastern and Western psychology know that stressors can also be systemic, that is, arising from within one's family, workplace, or social network, and they will advocate a systemic approach. Yoga and Chinese medicine understand stress as being caused by blocked energy. So they advocate the continuous flow of life force, prana, chi, as the best antidote to stressors. Finally, here's a very interesting one. Stressors can also arise at the spiritual plane, for instance, from a distorted relationship with the divine, or due to the stress that arises from existential questions such as, who am I, why am I here, what is the meaning of life, and so on. Such stress would necessitate cultivating a personal spiritual practice. So, a truly holistic approach requires that you first discover all your stressors at all planes of consciousness, and then seek to recover from them as best you can. Very importantly, as you undertake the task of eliminating your stressors, you also need to learn lessons from them. Optimum immunity is only the first step. And as Vijay said, personal growth is the real aim. Thank you.